Hi everybody, you're at home with Melissa, and I'm glad you're joining me because I have some exciting updates on the critter room. I think they're exciting, and I'm glad that you're joining me today so that I can tell you about them. And all I really have is just the update information. I'm trying to get the glare out of this shot, but easier said than done. Yeah, I don't have too much by way of information as to DIY type of things or anything. Just really want to share with you the things that have gone on in the past week since we saw each other last. First of all, as you can see, the larger of their Oscars are in their new 75-gallon tank. There's two Oscars, Hercules and Achilles, and I just got them into their tank probably a half an hour ago, and they're already settled in and happy. When I first put them in, they were nervous. Their pleco is in here too, and his name's Scooby-Doo. But when they first came to be in the tank, they were a little nervous, and so they were cuddling. They were swimming, touching sides, and going all over the tank very slowly, checking it all out, inspecting everything. And then they tried to cuddle with Scooby-Doo. They were trying to snuggle up to him. He was not impressed at all. Not at all. Plecos, not known for snuggling. They just want to be left alone. But, yeah, look at them. Happy as can be. Really calm, really happy, checking everything out. And I'm just thrilled to bits that they're in here. And soon we'll have their good filtration system up and running. In the meantime, we're going to be doing frequent heavy water changes, huh, boys? Very cool. Anyway, so that's the one thing. They're in their new home. I wanted to share that with you. And here's another. Here in the Amana tank, where you can see somebody chewing on a little bit of rind from, what was it? A zucchini. Yeah. They like these. These guys really like the zucchini. And the rind, usually I end up fishing it out the next day, and you can see some pleco wafers that are partially eaten there. These guys usually love the pleco wafers, but when they have the blanched zucchini to eat instead, they go for it first, and the pleco wafers just sit neglected. But the really cool thing in this tank is that I have seen several females with eggs in the past few days, so hopefully we'll have some babies soon. Pleased about that. And now here in this tank in the foreground, you can see a plant growing there on the right, growing out from the roots, the leaves underwater. This is Pozos. Yep. It just started growing the leaves underwater, so I'm going to take you to another tank where I decided to do an experiment that seems to be working. Hold on, here we go. You might remember these guys swimming around here all happy. These are the wild-caught bluegill. Still little, still just kind of friendly and having a good time with each other. But I imagine as they get a little larger, that will change. Hello, fella. The camera doesn't know how to focus because they're all going all different directions. It's saying, what do I focus on? But, yeah, look at them, how pretty. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful babies. Misbehaving. Anyway, what I wanted to show you in this tank before I got distracted is there we have the Pozos. I put it in the water pretty much immediately after our last videotaping, which was just over a week ago, I think, and it's still doing fine. We don't have leaf melt, we don't have any of that going on, so I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to live just fine and dandy underwater, and if it starts developing problems, I'll yank it out, but it looks like that was a successful experiment. Next door, we have something neat to talk about. I'll take you there. Hold on. Do you remember the cherry red shrimp? Well, last night I was looking at their tank and saw some little flecks of something that weren't moving along with the water current. So I took out a magnifying glass and I looked more closely, and those little specks that I saw seemed to have formed. They were on the glass. And so I think we have babies in here. Isn't that great? I'm really excited. I'm really excited about all these things. I have one more to show you too, one more update. Here we go. Here's our final visit for the day. This is Thor. Do you remember him? He's excited. I'm close to his tank and he's going, are you going to feed me? You going to feed me? What are you going to give me? I love food. Anyway, he is in a new tank as well. He's in his new 55-gallon. And he has just come out of his shell since moving in here. He's always out swimming. He never tries to hide behind the rocks. And one of the first things he did when he got into his new 55-gallon home, look at that. It looks enormous for him. Let's get more of it in the shot for you. It looks giant. Little speck of a fish, giant, giant tank. There's the wholeness of the tank. The wholeness, the entirety of the tank. And my little Fido the pleco and Thor the Oscar. I know, guys, I know. It looks like that's way too much water for way too little fish. And one of my friends has said that I really should have other fish in here with him, but I'm not going to, I don't think. I might get him a roommate, one other Oscar, so that he has a friend to hang out with. He's a sweet little guy. And if I can find someone who won't bully him around, it would be nice. Maybe if I get a smaller one. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Oscars are cheap. You can get them in any pet store. And so I'm thinking about it. I am thinking seriously about it. But this won't be big enough for them when they reach adulthood. And they mature within a year. And I would say that Thor's almost halfway there. And they grow about an inch a month for that first year. So that gets them up to almost 12 inches long. And then after that, they grow about half that rate. But one of the first things Thor did when he moved in was to rearrange furniture, like I may have said. If you can see right down there at the edge of the tank, you can see the reflection of the surface water. That's because you're looking at the bottom of the tank. It's reflecting in the glass on the bottom. Where the stone and the gravel meet, or the gravel and the sand meet, he decided to burrow out a hole for himself right down to the glass. And what he does is he swims really quickly across the tank when he gets excited, and he drags his abdominal fins through the sand. And then he takes a real quick hop and dive onto the glass, looks at himself, you know, on the side, looks at himself in the glass, then does a quick swim by the pleco and back through the sand again. So he seems really supremely happy in his new home, and I'm really happy that he's there. If I do get him another Oscar, they will have to be in a bigger tank very quickly. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think I should get him a roommate and try and see if they get along? Or do you think that I should just leave him be alone? He really does seem like he'd like to be social. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, though. Oh, and I want to share with you a tip from one of our friends. If you can see here, I have nothing planted in the Oscar tank. Now, this is because I'm going to do an aquaponics system on this tank as well. Otherwise, I would be following this tip because it's a really good one from our friend Martin. Martin, thank you so much. What he suggested was, if you want to have a planted aquarium with Oscars, those of you who've tried it with Oscars have probably failed miserably, as I have repeatedly. They just love to rip plants out of your substrate. They love to play with them, shred them, tear them up, and tear them apart. That's just how they are. They're real playful, and unfortunately, it makes it hard for those of us who really like to plant tanks up. So, what Martin suggested is that if you're planting something in an Oscar tank, see those big rocks there, the big rock there? He suggested that what you do is when you put your plant in, you weigh the roots down with big rocks, because then it might keep your little rascals from ripping them out of the substrate, and even if it doesn't, it will buy you some time before you have to replant them. Now, for any of you who've tried planted aquariums with your Oscars, you know that you are constantly replanting the plants. I mean, constantly. So, great tip, Martin. Thanks again, because anything that'll buy you some time between transplanting is worth it. Even if it isn't a permanent solution and you do have to transplant, as long as you get a little bit more time between having to do that, that is a plus. So I wanted to thank you again. That's wonderful, wonderful idea. And even though I'm doing aquaponics with these, I might still do that as well. I haven't decided yet. I kind of like having it bare for them just because they're little turkeys. But we'll see. We'll see. He might get some plants yet, especially this guy, more than the big guys, because he just, well, he has more room in his tank for one. So anyway, okay, that was the dorkiest laugh I've ever had in my life. But anyway, thank you for joining me again at home here with Melissa. I'm so happy that you were here, and I'm so happy that I got to share these things with you, because I'm really, I'm beside myself with excitement today. There's just so much going on. So many changes, so many of them positive here in the critter room. And there was just so much to update that I didn't want to wait any longer, because I'm still working. We're going great guns trying to add more and more supports in the basement to make sure that the first floor doesn't end up in the basement under the weight of these tanks. And as we're doing this, we've got an aquaponic system right now on ice, so to speak, while the glue dries. Pardon. I jumped the camera. But, so we're still working really hard and really fast. There's a lot going on in here, and I thought if I didn't make a tape for you today, that it might be way too much. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in again for future versions and things, and that you enjoy my fish, and if you have them, that you enjoy yours. And he's checking you out, guys. He's checking you out. Well, apparently he doesn't like us that much. But just between now and when we talk again, I just hope that you enjoy every single moment of your life. Thank you. Thanks again. And until next time. Bye-bye.